Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. Let's see what AWS has in store for us this time. Amazon ECS increases the CPU limit for ECS tasks to 192 vCPUs. And that means that ECS finally has caught up with AWS's premier serverless container service, Code Build. No, I'm not kidding with you. It has supported 192 vCPUs for ages. This episode is sponsored in part by my day job, the Duck Bill Group. Do you have a horrifying AWS bill? That can mean a lot of things. Predicting what it's going to be, determining what it should be, negotiating your next long-term contract with AWS, or just figuring out why it increasingly resembles a phone number, but nobody seems to quite know why that is. To learn more, visit duckbillgroup.com. Remember, you can't duck the duck bill. And my CEO informs me that is absolutely not our slogan. Amazon Q Developer now supports upgrade to Java 21. I'm sorry, I don't understand this. Why would the chatbot that pops up notifications in my Slack channel need to support Java's LTS? Can someone explain that to me, please? AWS announces backup payment methods for invoices. How does this interact with the existing backup payment method for large customers, which features the account manager first emailing, then calling, then finally showing up at the customer's house at 2 a.m. while crying? AWS Code Pipeline adds native Amazon EKS deployment support. This makes absolutely no sense until you realize that Code Pipeline charges 0.2 cents per action execution minute, and that EKS remains glacially slow to deploy. Someone's ship is coming in, most likely the Code Pipeline product owner's private yacht. AWS Price List API supports AWS Private Link. I can only imagine the hilarious set of conversations that led to this: the ability to use AWS Private Link for security when querying public information from AWS. AWS CloudFormation 2024 Year in Review. They're releasing this at the end of February because that's how long it took the rollback to complete. Cost optimize your Minecraft Java EC2 server. As it happens, my 7-year-old daughter is super into Minecraft, and I've been trying to find ways to teach her more about the technical side of gaming. So I eagerly pulled up the article and prepared to translate the technical steps into something kid-friendly. Now, here's where I need your help, Internet. Is it less likely to lead to expensive therapy bills if I try to explain to her how to set up Systems Manager, or just take the shortcut and directly tell her to go f herself? Improving security in Amazon Workmail with MFA. I bet you didn't know that Amazon had its own email suite, did you? Don't worry, it's well established and absolutely not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, let me take a big old drink of water here and move on to the next item in the AWS news queue, which says update on support for Amazon Chime. Jesus, man, I spent a lot of time on Amazon Chime, so they're killing it. Most of the time I spend on Chime is spent introducing Amazonians to one another. Now, I'm going to miss it since I don't yet have every AWS employee's personal cell phone number. But fortunately, that's what data breaches are for. This episode is sponsored by my own company, the Duck Bill Group. Having trouble with your AWS bill? Perhaps it's time to renegotiate a contract with them. Maybe you're just wondering how to predict what's going on in the wide world of AWS. Well, that's where the Duck Bill Group comes in to help. Remember, you can't duck the Duck Bill, which I am reliably informed by my business partner is absolutely not our motto. Best practices to respond to security risks across your AWS organizations. And this misses the critically important step of maintaining strong friendships in the industry and keeping your resume updated at least quarterly. Reduce IT costs by implementing automatic shutdown for Amazon EC2 instances. This works super well. since the person who implements something like this is about to no longer cost their employer their salary the first time this turns off something it really shouldn't. Remember the peril of saving money. If you leave something on, the worst case is it costs money. If you turn something off, the worst case is suddenly your production database is no longer databasing. I would absolutely not trust CPU utilization alone, like this article does, to tell me that something is safe to turn off. Use your brain, please. How to restrict Amazon S3 bucket access to a specific IAM role. This article has been updated to use the AWS principal ARN condition key instead of the AWS user ID condition key. The real problem is that this is a very common request, and the article is 1,900 words long because it is absolutely that complicated to achieve. And finally, introducing the AWS Trust Center. This webpage is going to become an absolute laughingstock in probably 8 months or so when AWS starts slapping third-party advertisements on their own website. Nothing says trustworthy quite like this enterprise webpage is sponsored by Chex Mix. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn. Please stay tuned.